Hi guys! Welcome to Marcos Approved Games. It's me, Marcos Approved, and today we're talking about Dead by Daylight. Welcome back everyone for another exciting episode of Rise and Shrine, the weekly show where we talk about new perks available in Dead by Daylight's Shrine of Secrets. This shrine is active from February 23rd to March 2nd. Without any further ado, let's jump right into this week's round of perks. The first perk we have up this week is a survivor perk known as Windows of Opportunity. Windows of Opportunity is a teachable perk from the hopeful songbird Kate Denson of the Curtain Call DLC. Auras of pallets, breakable walls, and vaults are revealed to you when within a range of 20 meters. Windows of Opportunity has a cooldown of 30, 25, and 20 seconds when vaulting or dropping a pallet during a chase. This perk is a fantastic addition to any new survivors out there, and with all the redesigned map changes, this perk can really help out even the more seasoned players. What you think is just a dip in a wall or a fence could actually be a vault, and this perk literally highlights those for you without having to wonder or second guess your next move when being chased by the killer. Every second counts, and you having the added benefit of seeing the next vault or pallet could very well be the few seconds you need to be able to stealthily hide or escape.
Thank you.
Windows of Opportunity.
One possible perk combo is to combine this with Live, a teachable perk courtesy of the focused competitor Fang Min. With these combined, you'll not only be able to see a window or pallet for you to vault, but with Live, you'll be able to take off in a classic sprint burst fashion, leaving the killer far enough behind you for you to get some much needed distance. Next up, we have a killer perk known as Thrilling Tremors. Thrilling Tremors is a teachable perk brought to you by the infamous stalking killer Ghostface of the Scream or Ghostface DLC. After picking up a survivor, all generators not being repaired by survivors are blocked by the entity and cannot be repaired for the next 16 seconds. Affected generators are highlighted by a white aura. Thrilling Tremors can only be triggered once every 100, 80, and 60 seconds. This is a sneaky perk that can really help you see exactly where the productive survivors are. The only giveaway to a survivor is that the entity's tendrils will block the surrounding generators they aren't being repaired, but are still in sight. So a survivor could technically let go of the generator they're repairing right before you pick up a survivor. That way it looks as if the generator they were once repairing isn't being worked on at all. They lose up to 16 seconds of repairing, which could give you enough time to go to every gen and stop them before they finish. Or they can continue to work on the gen and really do their best to finish before you get there, which lets you know exactly where to go next. Moving on to the next perk, a killer perk known as Hex Haunted Grounds. Hex Haunted Grounds is a teachable perk courtesy of the ethereal college student, the Spirit, of the Shattered Bloodlines DLC. 2 trapped hex totems will spawn in the trial. When one of the 2 trapped hex totems is cleansed by a survivor, all survivors suffer from the exposed status effect for 40, 50, and 60 seconds. The remaining trapped hex totem immediately becomes a dull totem. This hex perk is a strong one that could really dramatically shift the tide of a match at any point. A classic spirit combination with this perk is another hex perk called Thrill of the Hunt, a general perk available for all killers. For each dull totem and hex totem remaining on the map, you gain a token. Gain 10% more blood points for actions in the hunter category for each token. Survivors' cleansing speed is reduced by 4, 5, and 6 seconds for each token. Gain a notification when someone starts working on a hex totem. The hex effect persists as long as a related hex totem is standing. What makes this a classic combination for the Spirit is her phase walking ability. She gets notified of someone cleansing her hex totems, phases to it, and suddenly appears in that area to hunt the one who's disturbing her totems. And for our final perk this week, we have the OG troll perk, Pebble, Diversion. Diversion is a teachable perk from the resourceful teacher Adam Francis of the Shattered Bloodlines DLC. Standing within the killer's terror radius while not in a chase for 40, 35, and 30 seconds activates Diversion. Once Diversion is activated, press the active ability button while crouched and motionless to throw a pebble, which creates a distraction for the killer at a distance of 20 meters. The distraction consists of a loud noise notification and scratch marks in the area the pebble lands. Diversion's timer resets once the ability has been activated. The birth of trolling perks. Hide from the killer within their terror radius to gain the ability to divert the killer's attention somewhere else. One perk combo is to pair this with urban evasion, courtesy of Nia Carlson. Your movement speed while crouching is increased by 90, 95, and 100%. Stealthily follow the killer to gain more time to activate diversion. And right when you feel they know exactly where to find you or another survivor, you activate diversion and have the killer head in that direction, giving you and your teammates a much needed distraction. A little known fact is the pebble does not collide with walls, objects, props, and other characters, and it will always land 20 meters away from you in the direction you throw it in. And there you have it, folks, our perks for the week. Let me know in the comments which perks you're going to pick for yourself, or even let me know if it's better worth saving your shards for next week's shrine. As for me, the Marcus approved perk of the week for Survivor is going to have to be Windows of Opportunity. And I'm not just saying this as a Kate main, but Windows of Opportunity was basically my training wheels on learning how to loop the killer much better. I was much more scared and hesitant when I first started playing, and the primary concern was not knowing where to go next. That also promised me a pallet to stun the killer or a window to vault to run away. And the more I started getting familiar with the maps and likely pallet and or window locations, I no longer needed those training wheels. But now that multiple maps have already gone under complete redesigns, some vault locations are more cleverly disguised and some pallets are placed in harder to see right away places. And this perk could be the cure to strengthen anyone's looping game. One inventive combo is to pair this with Yui Kimura's perk, Any Means Necessary. You'll be able to see every pallet nearby, so you can easily go over to any dropped pallet and simply reset it for you or a teammate to reuse later, giving you value for both perks. And for you killer mains out there, the Marcus approved perk of the week is Hex Haunted Grounds. This is a dynamic hex perk that only lets you see value if someone cleanses one of the two totems. But once cleansed and you knock down even one person, you get value from this perk. An ambitious goal, but not impossible, is to knock down every survivor once this totem is cleansed. Having a perk rely on forces outside of me as a killer does add some stress, but this perk can really be a great way to counter those totem cleansing survivors. And pairing this perk with other hex perks is a great way to defend your totems, or set up a trap to have them cleanse instead of ignore. A strong hex totem combo is to combine this with Hex Ruin, courtesy of the Hag, and Hex Undying, courtesy of the Blight. When another hex totem is cleansed, that totem's hex transfers to the Hex Undying totem, deactivating Hex Undying. And whenever a generator is not being repaired by a survivor, it will immediately and automatically regress its repair progress at 100, 150, and 200% of the normal regression speed. Typically, when survivors know Hex Ruin is active, they search for the totem to cleanse, and after they cleanse Hex Undying, you send them on a hunt to find the next one. And since two of those hex totems are Hex Haunted Grounds, that gives you a great chance they'll cleanse one of those two instead of Hex Ruin, giving you a max of 60 seconds to knock them all down one by one. And that about wraps up this week's episode of Rise and Shrine. But first, I want to thank you again so much for watching. And if you've enjoyed and or found this useful, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that little bell icon to get notified when I post the next episode. Thank you again for watching, and I sincerely appreciate your support. Until next time, my name is Marcus Approved. Now go out there and make this week you approved. Bye guys!